Hey guys, can you hear
There
me?
he is.
Hey
Hey,
man.
brother.
Hey man. What's up? What's up?
What's going on, man?
Good to see you, man.
We have
Been-
all of you. You know? Cool. So you have a new album out, Last American Rock Band, released March 11th. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, man, that's right. We're super excited. Really, this album is like our reintroduction into the market. We felt like, as a lot of people did, right? Like the last 2 years have been tough. And it was almost like an ultimate reset of some things. But we were like, hey, we've been at this for several years now. I mean, we're almost at, if you think back to when Chad and I like had sat down for the very first time before there was a Scotty V or a Gunner and said like, hey, we want to make a band and call it Wicked. It's been a decade.
Right.
So we were like, let's do a celebration of what this has been about and reintroduce ourselves into the market, and get ready for all this additional new releases that we've been preparing over the last 2 years. And the Last American Rock Band has really been that. It's like we're so excited. It wasn't really, we didn't think of it that way to start.
No.
We went into the studio and we're just going to make a new album.
It wasn't even planned to do these songs.
And we were like, we worked our way through, we recorded over an album's worth of songs, obviously. And we were like, shit, we're trying to like arrange it and figure out how everything fit. And we were like, oh, maybe we'll put out an EP, maybe a couple singles just to tease people. And we're like, we kind of came to this conclusion that like, over the years, there's some different philosophies and different, people directing what we did. And now it's us. It's the band. It's a very independent DIY kind of thing where we've gotten our business really strategically put together. And we said, the fans have never had anything but limited releases. And we want to give them a full-blown release of not only their favorites, but some new stuff. That they could go, and whether it's streaming or digital download or buying a good old CD and vinyl, and they could enjoy it, with some really cool artwork and the whole package. So
Cool. Now, your last release, or the one before that, came out on white vinyl. This time, anything different?
So yeah, this time it's going to be kind of different. We wanted to contrast that with the vinyl. That last vinyl that we did many years ago, Life Alive, was kind of a live album with the old drummer JP. And he was Gunner's tutor.
He did pass the torch on to Gunner.
Yes. He literally handed him a torch.
He said, it's your time now, Gunner.
And we love you, JP, if you're out there.
Even me.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, we love him.
But yeah, like, that, as you said, like that was a cool little thing. It was something we recorded live back then. White vinyl, had some really cool pictures on the gatefold opening where it was like all these pictures from when we traveled to Rocklahoma for a couple of years.
Yeah.
With like family and road crew and stuff that went along for the trip. It's a cool thing. We have a few of those copies left over.
Not many.
But not many. Yeah. It's funny. It's like our we did like a limited release just CD of some cover songs called All Covered Up, and that's sold out. I mean,
It's gone.
gone.
Yeah.
Can't even get it anymore.
Bye-bye.
Which is cool in its own right. But with this new vinyl, it's going to be a part of the package of the brand of this whole Last American Rock Band. We're kind of going anti white as you saw it on that album, and it'll be like a really cool traditional black vinyl with like all the stickers, all the liner inserts, a lot of special thanks that it's very, very cool. You could only get it on the vinyl, special pictures just for the vinyl. Yep. We really wanted to make it exciting, and for the first time, like I kind of alluded to, is we've put this band is not only just a band of 4 young guys that are like hungry to go and play live and be rock stars, if you will. But we learned the business. We started an S corporation. We got into the legal stuff. We do our own accounting, the whole 9 yards. We come home from the day job and it's like, you get right to work, but you're having fun doing it because it's our baby.
Yeah.
And it's important to have that wherewithal of those details as well. And that goes into, like, to your point about making the vinyl and being and having more of a hand in it. So it's to me, I think the big thing is it's very personal and it's very true to who we are in this release, whether it be the CD, the digital streaming stuff, or the vinyl. You're going to see a little bit more of a closer look at who the four of us are. And I think
it's
that's
more
what we're
intimate,
excited
and,
about.
there's always going to be a lot to look at on those physical releases. Little things here and there that you won't see the first time you look at it. That's
Yeah.
why everybody likes the physical stuff, whether it's vinyl or CDs. You might see a little hidden emblem or something on there.
And hell, if you call yourself a rock and roller and you don't have a CD or a vinyl in your hand, you're out of your mind, man. I mean, we come home, we get the record player jazzed up with some plastic on it, man, and it's rolling.
That's all we're doing.
So we know you guys. We love you, true rock and rollers out there who are still into the good old CDs, vinyl, cassettes. You know where it's about. Yep.
Next will be a 45.
That's right.
Hey,
Not a bad idea.
not too far off. It's funny, like when we put out this album, one of the songs that was a fan classic favorite was Reptile Food, and just by nature of what we were recording when we had originally set out to do a new album, we hadn't done that one for some odd reason. It's always been like the closer of every show,
yeah.
Right.
and
Missing link right now.
and people are asking for it, and we're like, you know what? Yeah, maybe we will put out a 45 with it.
Wow.
I don't know, man.
It'd be kind of cool.
So we did our first release show, and we played it at the end of the show like we do traditionally, and we worked the song up completely in a new way. And it's just like High Roller on this album. It's a fan favorite.
all
We've
new
been
life
playing
to
it for
it.
years.
Yeah.
It's got a whole new life to it. And same thing with this. And we're like, this is pretty cool. Like, right? Like, how do you go in and you refine that spark and that light and energy that made you so excited about the stuff that you created so many years ago.
Right.
And like I said, and then we also have some new songs on there that people just haven't heard or haven't been released, and so much more to come. So
Right. Now you guys have an elaborate stage show and stuff like that. Who makes all your clothes?
that's this guy right here. We call him Chad the Seamstress Johnson over here. We have a shop. Yeah. It's amazing what Chad's one of those guys who has a knack for learning little trades. And he started with the leather. He's done spandex, jean, everything. I mean, it's amazing. We say, hey, here's the art of the possible. This is our vision. And he gets that dirty, and we'll have a whole thing. Usually it's last minute, right before a big festival or photo shoot or music video.
Not usually. It's always.
Always.
It's always last.
It's good
minute.
motivation to get it done quickly, though.
3 o'clock in the morning before we're ready to drive 38 hours.
Still studying a belt or something.
Gunnar will be asleep in the chair. He's supposed to stay up and keep him company. I'll be pouring Chad's drinks all night.
Wow. Now, before this pandemic thing, you guys were touring all the time. Would that be the same thing once you go out again?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it's funny, like I said, we've really taken this, not only this band, but this business over in a very independent way. And it's you get what you see, right? It's the four of us. And we're lucky to have, a lot of the crew and the support that we've had. But at the end of the day, we're the ones putting in the work and really working through all this stuff. And so we're at a bit of a, kind of crawl, walk, run start, really just trying to make sure people can digest the new music. And we're right now working on booking a bunch more shows. So we're hoping to get around the US in some strategic locations throughout this album release. So keep an eye out for that. There's definitely some announcements that are coming out soon, and we're super excited about them. But like I said, we've got other new music that we're ready to put out as well. And I honestly would tease the fact that it's going to be soon.
Yeah, I mean, we got a whole unreleased album that will be coming out soon that you won't know any of the songs on.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're ready to go into the studio and cut the next one too. The next two. We
Which-
got enough material for another 2 albums.
Which is
so-
super exciting. And
Yeah.
it really goes into the story of, like, you know, and I'd make a long story short, but we met a really good friend back several years ago, originally from Panama, that had moved to Brooklyn. And he was a music producer through some friends in Salem, Massachusetts. And like this crazy wild story goes that, like, you know, Nacho Molino, this engineer producer, would really be like that fifth Beatle, or that like magic key in the door that helped us through what I would say some real tough times, you know, through COVID and just our transition of being independent. And, you know, he brings such talent and skill, and he really helped us put not only this album but the next one together, and is now an integral part of our family and our band and our culture, that, you know, we're like Scott said, we're going in, we've got another 2 albums we'll have cut by the end of the summer.
Yeah,
so.
you know, he really brings like the production of this music to life, as well as a live show, which is really cool. He's going to be on the road with us, you know, doing all the sound and stuff. And it's really cool to have a really tight team like that.
And the guy's got 7 Grammys, but, you know, he's a rock and roll metal guy. You know, he's a Pantera fan, so he gets it. And it's pretty cool to have a tight, small team like that. It's important, really.
Right.
And I think we mentioned on this interview that the tracks we just put out and the ones that are coming out next, we cut all that whole session in our house. We built a studio in our house, and that's how
We're
we
sitting
really
in it right now.
we're sitting in the living room right now. That's how we got so close with our producer Nacho, is that he lived with us for like a month while we cut all that.
3 months.
3
Yeah,
months.
it was
Yeah.
like
3
It
months.
was a whole
Holy
summer.
shit.
It was a whole summer. We just drank beer and rocked for literally 3 months, and just got such good tracks, and we meshed like this, and
Yeah.
now you can't go back. We're a team.
Wow. Now, when you play live and stuff, and you're a support act at that time, like after your set, like people weren't expecting what they got to see with you guys when they never saw you or didn't know you, right? What are some of the things people tell you after they saw your set?
Well, you know what? That's the refreshing part, Brian. It's like, it's crazy. You know, I think that before anybody sees a live show, you'll get a lot of, what are you, an 80s band? What are you guys, something like Angel, blah, blah, blah. You know, people in the music industry, whether it be consumers or whatever, people have a tendency to draw comparisons,
It's
right?
kind of like a weird like, backfire, because normally like bands don't look as cool as us on stage, or like when we go up to the bat, you know, we have this look, and people automatically assume, oh, they just have a look, they're overcompensating, until we get on stage and we play.
And so when you see the live show, to what you're saying, is like, it's so refreshing, because you'll go out there, and one of the big things that we do, and I don't know, I've never really understood it. I get it, money, right? Like, but like, we've always been built on a culture of like, you go out there after the show and you're taking photos and signing autographs and hanging out with your fans. I don't care about COVID. I don't care about money to be had. You know, those people come out, you entertain them, and we do it to a level that we feel is better than the rest, whether it be with the look or the sound or the songs. And then afterwards, you go and you break bread with your friends and family, right?
I mean,
and your fans.
There's been times where Chad had like a twisted ankle after a show, and we still go out and he'll put on the tough face, and no one will know he's talking to fans for like 2 hours.
Or being super drunk and falling over people, and
That's just
throwing up. And
But to kind of hit it home.
the important
No
thing
matter
is,
what, we always.
well, yeah, but the important thing is the feedback after the show is so different, right? And it's like, people realize once they hear it, once they see it, once they feel it, that it's inspired and influenced by bands like Angel, The Stars, you know, Thin Lizzy, UFO, you know, maybe even some 90s bands, but in the end of the day, it's a different thing. And it's because we're not a rehash. And that's one of the things that is very important to us. We're very critical on our songwriting and what we do, and how we present ourselves, because we're not out to be a rehash. We're not out to be a tribute band. And that's a very core fundamental to us. And if you come and see a live show, 99% of the time, that's the feedback you get is, holy crap, I don't even know really what
I
to say
can't put
about
my-
it.
It's always
but
I
it's
can't
great.
put my finger on it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You guys have all these different things going on. I can't put my finger on it. That's usually what it is.
Yeah.
It's
For
that
the-
kind of
For the few people
response.
this during our release party, like, you know, at the end of the night, they're like, you know, I really don't listen to rock and roll very much, but I'll be at every single show because you guys put on a freaking show, man.
It's entertaining, right?
Yep.
And so I think that's important at the end of the day.
Yeah, you can't really compartmentalize it to like just for rock people, just for metal people. It's
for
a
everyone.
show. You just come and see the show. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I got to see you guys New England Rock Festival. I saw you in Jersey. Are you more known as like an East Coast band, or do you go?
We are, you know, and that's one of the things you'll see. There's a song on our new album called New York Tough. And, you know, that song was a new song that happened really last minute. And we felt fit really well with this group of songs on the Last American Rock Band. But it also really fits with what you're getting at. And it's, you know, at the end of the day, our core fan base is a very Northeastern centric, you know, demographic. And, you know, yes, we have, you know, fans from Japan, Europe, Argentina, Brazil, California, Oklahoma is a huge place. I remember when we did the 2-3 years in a row of Rocklahoma at the beginning of our career. We ended up going to a Kiss show at the Bach Center in Tulsa,
A year later,
Oklahoma,
yeah.
like a year or two later. And like we would walk through that stadium and every fifth
It's
person would
wicked.
say, it's wicked. What are you guys doing here? You know? So like we have a fan base. I think the important thing to remember is, again, we're independent and everything comes down to logistics and money. And we are putting in the work to make sure that we can get out there and see and build our demographic of fans in other areas across not only the US, but, you know, the globe. But we are very proud to say that the Northeast is our stronghold home base. And that's at the core of who we are. Yes, sometimes people will think like, oh, you guys look like surfer guys because you have blonde hair and this and that. We love that. But you know what? At the end of the day, when you look at the attitudes and the music and who we are, it's very much like New York Dolls, Kiss, the bands that came, Twisted Sister, that came out of that Northeast region, right? And that they have a thing to them. It's an edge. And that's what Wicked is. You know what I mean? It's just, it's unconscious. It's just who we are, how we grew up, and how we've grown as musicians and a family.
Mhm. Right.
After a winter like we just had, you need a song like New York Tough.
Yeah, that's
To,
right.
to rally coming
Rally,
into the
yeah.
spring.
If you could add anything to your stage show, what would it be?
You know, I mean, it's always right. Like, I mean,
Pyro.
yeah, let's fucking light this shit up. But you know, we've gotten creative with the limitations. You know, since the '80s, since some of the different regulations and tragedies and different things that have happened. You know, you got to get creative, not only with your music, not only with how you promote music or things like streaming and how that is. It's an ever-changing business, right? And that goes down to the stage show too. And we found some just very intimate ways to get in touch with our fans. You know, we have a song called "Seal It with a Kiss," and it's been in the set for a few years. And we basically we get it going and we say like, hey, ladies, this is your chance. You know what the deal is. Every show, we're going to pick 1 or 2 people to come up and they get to kiss the lead singer, Chad Michael. You know what I mean? And so that people go crazy for it. It's amazing when you talk, at the end of the day, any of the antics, if you really think about it, you don't need lights and fire and anything special.
The more you can do
need
yourself.
human connection. And it might not be sealed with a kiss. Maybe it's high roller. Maybe it's when Chad says, hey, everybody, I want everybody to really get low on the ground. And I want you to sing along here. And he gives them a melody and a rhythm to a singing pattern, and they go with it. Or if it's hooligans and they're clapping during the cowbell breakdown part. It's amazing. Even this last release show, it's amazing to see if you give people that human connection, that purpose, the reason why everybody's there that night together for a common cause, just to let go and escape their daily lives, how grandiose it could feel. And you don't need a goddamn light or scrim or pyro or anything else. You just need to be real with people. And that's so important.
Right. Now, all your material, is that, in-house, self-released, or you have a label, or what?
Yeah, no, it's all independently released by us. We have used a company called Magic Right Records as our manufacturer to release the music from a manufacturing standpoint. And I think it's very important to touch base, in any of these interviews and say that it's very pointed that we did it this way. We spent years as young kids growing up, becoming a part of this music business and trying to, be not only good musicians, but learn, the logistics. And we've spent so many years like chasing this dream that's been painted by the likes of Motley Crue or Kiss or whatever. And I think a lot of people do that. And it's good and it's bad, right? Because when you set your goals based on your dreams that you are influenced by others, you want to be realistic. And a lot of times young guys, especially in music business, they miss that part of the realistic part. And the music business is ever changing. And we really spent some time trying to find a good partner. And what we really came to the realization is what we need to do first for us, in our opinion, is know the process and do it and make the mistakes and learn from them. And so that's what we set out to do here. And it was a perfect marriage, right? Like,
yeah. And I mean, if we're gonna give any advice that on bands trying to figure it out right now, is that DIY is for sure the best way to go if you're starting out, because it's just right now the way the record industry is you if you're just starting out, figure it out, put some music out yourself first.
Yeah, test the
Do it.
waters. Yeah.
A lot of people just sign all their stuff away and then or take some deal where they're making nothing and it just drains them.
yeah, or wait forever for the perfect thing. Sometimes
Yeah, or that. for
sometimes
sure, yeah.
waiting for perfection isn't appropriate, where you could just be better, right? And I think for us it's important, especially since we were giving the fans music that not only like were some of their favorites but also some new stuff. It was important to just go through the process and learn it, right? And like I said, this is really in some ways our debut release, because our previous releases were very limited, right? Hey, we went to disc makers, or hey, we went to Rainbow Records and got a vinyl and we only got 500 of them.
Mhm.
Awesome, very cool, but and very old school, right? And that's what we were always about. But this is our first time that we were going global with, here's a release and everybody's going to be able to get this and digest it.
However you
And
take the
and
music,
it was a
you
lot of
can,
work,
yeah.
and I'm proud of the four of us looking back on it, because within a month's time of kind of saying like, shit, let's do this right now, let's go and let's set a date and let's set a goal, and we executed, and everybody had a different job along the way, and those jobs changed nightly, and we got a lot of work done. And we did some things that I'm impressed by, and I'm proud to say that, like, yeah, we're a real band, but we're a real family that like is able to sit down together. We've lived together for 7 years, the four of us, under one roof, and like the old days, right? Like a real band. And we've gotten this thing together that's only just started. It's the spark that the flame is just ready to like start burning
I mean,
on.
this is just the pregame.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, it's just literally just getting started.
Cool. Well, congratulations. The Last American Rock Band released March 11th. Please support this band. I seen them live many times. Kick ass. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there, man?
Absolutely.
I think it's important, right? Like to say like, thank you guys. Like,
Couldn't do it without you. I mean,
literally
can't.
when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, rock and roll is different, right? It's not a fad. And like you folks out there that get into it and that support these bands like us, just like yourself, Brian, like it's like it's it's priceless is
Right.
is really the deal. And it's true and it's authentic. And I would just say, like, guys, get ready. Like, this is just the beginning. We want to set out not only to get wicked music out there and get the live show out there and meet fans and new fans and build on that, but we want to build the scene. We think that rock and roll has so much more to come back from and give to the greater global community. And we want to be a part of that. And people like you, Brian, are a part of that. And, thank you guys for the support. Thank you for the excitement. We're excited. There's new music coming even after this very soon. And I think I'll just leave you with, don't forget, wickedrockandrollofficial.com, any of our socials at Wicked Rock and Roll.
Stay up to date with us.
Stay up to date. Don't miss a beat.
Yep.
We're here. We're living in a community of music lovers and rock and roll lovers with you. And we're here. We want to hear from you. We want to share those memories and those experiences with you. So let's just get connected and do it.
Cool. Congratulations. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks,
Bye,
Brian.
man.
See you, brother.
Later.